Yeah, let's go. You know us, we know you. From soul food to Whole Foods, from Crenshaw to Nobu. It's old school do's and don't do's in the spot. I wrote the recipe down, wrist deep in the pot. Yeah, puff it and pass it. Chill Pinot Grigio in the glass, cheese and crackers. Pair up is classic. Learn from the masters, you just gotta listen. The room too hot, then move from out the kitchen. A new spot, ain't no food court. Age to prime, homie, results take time. Life is too short for bad eating, for bad tippers, for bad service, for bad liquor. I need it all fresh. Follow directions, I explain it on the back. A little bit of this, tablespoon of that. Yeah, just watch the mix. I done made this here from scratch. It ain't about where you from. They don't love you where you at. Think about it. Yeah, food for thought. What they talking about? K&E, that's the boss. What you talking about? Yeah, Lamert Park, eating good. What we talking about? Yeah, a lot to talk about.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. And one more again, she's the Karen.
Oh, and he's the Ernest.
Oh, we gonna get this down finally after 3 years. I mean, I know we be remixing it. So,
Oh, my Lord.
hey Lou, how you been?
Good,
I feel like I ain't seen you in forever, even though
that's not true.
I did just see you.
Yesterday.
This has been a week where I've seen you before we are recording.
Yes.
And we can tell people we were out on the boat.
We were on the boat.
Like we were with our friend Monique and Ashton.
Captain Ash.
Captain Ash. I was gonna say Chef Ash, but he was Captain Ash.
Yeah.
And
Good times.
It's always good being able to have friends that have a boat and we can be fancy. I mean, it's not like, as we will find out, it's not like our guest who has a
Right.
parental who just sends a
Right.
confirmation.
Right.
Or be like, show up at the airport and just let's
I mean,
go.
that's how she's living.
But
though.
the boat was
She deserves
the
it.
boat was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those days where I felt very blessed because, like you said, we were with friends and community, and it was fun. And now, one of my fears is water.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got on the boat, I was a trooper, but I was like, leave.
Oh, you were going through it, huh?
I was like, help me on the boat. Because I'm just so clumsy, and I just think that I'm going to fall into the water when I get on the boat.
Yeah,
And I'm just not the swimmer.
yeah, as it applies to being a swimmer, I like in a pool, I'm good because I know that there's a bottom that if
Okay.
I go under,
Okay.
I can hit the bottom and
Yeah.
I can swim back up.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist in the ocean, and so or the ocean, the lake, or like
Whatever body of water.
that
that's
bottom
not
of
the
water
pool. Yeah.
is a little bit
Yeah.
challenging. But that was good. It was
It was-
still
it
good
was
to be able to
excellent.
and drinking
Yeah.
cigars.
So blessed.
So we almost burned down the boat.
Yeah. Whoopsie.
Oopsie.
Stop making the plastic cup an ashtray.
So that was a good look.
It was good times, for
so
sure.
the weekend that just passed, though,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see you because you were in Vegas being fancy.
I was. Well, I don't know about being fancy.
Well, I mean, we're going to tell
Well,
people.
now that I
one
think
of the
about it,
things-
yes, I was being
And
fancy. I was like,
there were actually two things that happened on that trip as it applies to
Yes.
food.
Yes.
You told so Chef Kwame has a new restaurant.
mm-hmm.
Well, Chef Kwame of Tatiana fame in New York.
Yep.
Do you know
Last Lap in
Last Lap
Miami.
in Miami?
Mhm.
He has a new place in
There's a
Vegas.
place in D.C.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it.
Oh, I don't know, but
Okay.
we'll find that out. But
Yes.
he also has a new restaurant opening in Vegas called Maroon.
Yes.
And one of the two of us were there for the grand opening. I
And it
wasn't.
wasn't you.
I was here. So how was that?
It was excellent. It was excellent. So I think that you and part of the audience and the guests know that I occasionally go to Las Vegas because I have an aunt there, and I get a fancy room so that when she comes to the room, she can leave her house and feel like she's on vacation as well. And so we stayed at the Waldorf. Shout out to the Waldorf. The rooms are great. Just everything's great. The people are great. And to your point, I just happened to be there, and some of our friends were there, and so I got to be Monique's plus one for Maroon, the opening of Maroon, and that is in the Sahara.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Sahara or Sahara?
Sahara.
Sahara Hotel, which they have remodeled. It's cute. And the restaurant is beautiful. There was an opening, there was fast food, there were bars, there's an open kitchen. People said the chicken was fantastical. I
Yeah,
should have
but you don't
tasted it,
eat
but I
chicken.
didn't. I had the steak. I had the oxtail fried rice. They also had like oysters and shellfish and other things. I didn't have a lot of that. And then so they had the opening and the tasting like from 8 to 10. And then at 10 p.m. they went to the pool and had an after party.
Yeah, and I bring it up because first and foremost, Chef Kwame, we're coming for you.
Yep.
We expect to have you on our show.
Absolutely.
So if that means that we have to come to Vegas and record with you there, or if it means that you come to us in LA, you are on our list and we have an APB out for you.
Absolutely.
And you also had another dining experience, the tasting menu.
I thought I'd treat myself and go. So, oftentimes now what I do, especially since we've been doing this as of late or for the last couple of years, is when I go someplace, I look up Michelin stars or I rely on our friends at Eater to give me a really good review of a place I can try. And so there's a place called Gymkhana, Gymkhana, and it's an Indian restaurant. And they had a tasting menu, and I was like, yes, please.
How many courses?
Ooh, like maybe 8.
Okay.
And maybe 8. And so, staying at the fancy hotel, I called the concierge, or I text the concierge, because now, we text. And I asked them to get me a reservation, and they were like, absolutely not. The reservations are 45 days out, Miss Lewis. So I did what we share with our listeners to do. I walked into the restaurant. They opened at 5. I walked in about 5:15, and I begged.
Yeah.
Please, 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 I'm a party of one. I want to do the tasting. Please tell me you have a seat. And she said, we do at 9 p.m. And I said, bet, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
And it was a wonderful experience. I had goat, venison, lobster curry, a really beautiful potato dish, just a host of things. And I did the wine pairing, and all the wines were great. I asked the som to write everything down so I could buy them for my friends. And then at the end of the night, one of the bartenders treated me to some Indian whiskey. And it was amazing.
Wait, you didn't tell me that. Indian whiskey. How is that? How does that feel?
I gotta save you for the surprise.
How was that compared to Japanese whiskey or the regular whiskey?
It was this particular one, and I don't recall the name, but it's a picture on my phone. It was excellent. It was smooth. It was lovely.
Not really peaty?
Not really peaty.
Okay.
I think they do have some, but this one was not peaty.
Okay.
And I appreciated the guy pouring it, and it was not on my bill. So it was a wonderful experience. Hung out with the bartenders. They were wonderful. Like Chef Kwame's restaurant, Maroon, this restaurant, Gymkhana, is large as well. And it's like 3 bars. I think Maroon has 3 bars. So it's just lovely to see. When you walk into a restaurant, you don't know how far back it extends, and it's true for both Maroon and Gymkhana. So,
all right. Well, I mean, yeah. As we said, one of the two of us is fancy and does things like getting the room at the Waldorf. And speaking of fancy,
my aunt.
Yeah, your auntie. Yeah. I'm not mad at it, but that ties perfectly into our guest and being fancy because like we said, she just be. We're glad that we're able to have her on the show because she couldn't fit us in her schedule because she had to go traipse around the world.
Well, you also are who your circle is, and so this is part of my circle.
It'll be a fun thing.
Yeah.
So we'll jump into her, but the other thing that I want to talk about is it is tourist season, and tonight we are going to be celebrating party number 1 because I am the your famous tour. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be fancy, we gonna do it.
Doing 2 parties.
2 parties, and tonight's party is a Juve party. So we are going to be having a great time, and party number 1 is happening, celebrating your boy, and I'm really excited about that. So on next week's show, we'll be able to recap and let people know how.
Remind me not to have any edibles that evening.
Please don't. Please don't.
2 years ago, I fell asleep at
She
his
fell
birthday
asleep
party.
at the party, in the middle of the party.
The sleep was good, too. The sleep was so good.
She opened her eyes, and we all were like, and she was like, what you talking about? I just got a good nap in the middle of your party. You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
when we come forward. More savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to watching.
You hear my stomach? Everybody heard my stomach?
Sorry. So,
Oh my
so
gosh.
as I was about to jump into the intro, and Karen's stomach just was like. "Urgh." I was like, "Wait, is that an earthquake?" I was like, "What is happening?"
Really?
I didn't know. I just was a little bit concerned. We have to make sure that you eat before you come because
This is like the fourth time.
yeah, this.
I normally don't eat this early.
Oh, okay.
But I think, anyway, it's not important.
Well, you are
I'll have
listening
a
to,
snack
watching,
next
vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. And as we said before we came forward, our guest this evening is a little bit fancy. And as you said, it's a function of the circles that
Yeah.
that you are part of and that
Mhm.
she is part of. And why don't you tell everybody who we have tonight?
Well, she's so fancy that she goes by one name.
Like
If she wants to
Sade.
use her other name, she can.
Madonna.
Yes, Prince.
Mhm.
Don't spill again, please. Introducing Davida. She also goes by Vida, which, as most of you know, means life. And she's just a wonderful, wonderful human being, a wonderful friend. And what I love about her that she does when it comes to food is she's really about health. She's about sharing what she knows, all the health wealth that she's into. She shares with her friends and her community and her family. And it's just been beautiful to watch. And even, how she's helped me and tried to help a couple of my family members and that type of thing. So I really want to talk about your vegan cooking and all the things and just talk about Davida teas. Davida.
Divinity.
There you go. See?
Well,
Mispronouncing things already.
That's why what we usually do is the intro and let y'all talk about yourselves. But so it's great to have you here. This is great.
Good to be here. Thank you for having
Bam,
me.
bam, bam, bam.
So before we jump into all of this stuff, we referenced the fact that you are a world traveler,
Mhm.
and you are a world traveler who is quick to change the weather by changing the location. So and this ties into your food journey, but I'm just off the rip. In your many travels, what has been the place that you've had your best meal? Can you think of anywhere that
Italy.
Italy? Okay.
Italy.
And now was that southern Italy, Rome? Where was it?
I like the Amalfi Coast.
Oh, of course she does.
You.
Right.
You asked.
I did
She
ask.
answered.
They have great. I just love the pastas.
Right.
It's so good.
Right.
Yeah.
So good. It's unbeatable. And I'm a pescatarian, so
Okay.
I eat predominantly like plant-based, but I will eat fish from time to time and everything is just fresh
Mhm.
and everything is amazing. It's always like things to try that I've never had before.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
And I'll ask you this rather than making a statement. How have you found the food in your international travels, Italy included, as it compares to when you eat here in the States?
Funny thing is, for years after I would travel, and when I came back, I would instantly get sick. I would be sick for like a week or two. And I realized it's the quality of our food.
Yep.
So once your body readjusts to eating fresh food every day, when we come back here, no matter where you're shopping at, whether it's organic or you're going to the best grocery stores ever,
Mhm.
unless you're really going to the farmer's market or something like that, your food is contaminated.
Yeah.
And it will tear you up. It will mess you up for a few days. So I'm intentional about when I return back to the States to do like juices for the first few days and introduce like a lot of fruits and vegetables. And I'll go to like the farmer's market or Erewhon or somewhere and try to get the best quality I can for at least to transition myself back to eating here.
Mm.
And that's why what I was kind of referencing. Karen and I have talked about eating internationally and the quality of food, and in Italy, as somebody that has been there, and I think Karen's been
Yeah.
in Italy too,
Mhm.
is that you are actually eating more, like you eat more
Right.
times throughout the day.
Mhm.
But even as you mentioned, on the pasta. It doesn't weigh you down like the pasta that is here and is uber processed. And I mean, you can have a meal in Italy or at a lot of places internationally. Karen and I were in Morocco. We did the show live from Morocco, and you're able to eat most of these other places in a way that is far exceeds what we get here in the States.
Yeah, and also, well, as you know, in Italy and places like that, you're also doing all that walking, right? So to your point, the food's not heavy, and then you're walking, so it's a nice combo to just be able to splurge and eat all you want. The other thing is, the the first time I went to Italy, I remember having like a cookout with a family,
Oh, wow.
and it was at a winery, and this young woman had this winery in like a hotel and had her family cooking for us. We participated in a homemade pasta class or a pasta class, making pasta. And she had her aunt and her mom make the bolognese, and her dad and uncle grilled meat. I think they grilled chicken and steak. And the other thing that I found, other than the food was so fresh and the meat was so fresh and tasty and all the things, was that we were drinking both white and red and no headache in the morning. So we also know there's no sulfites, there's no things. And generally you try to, if you're drinking white here, you stick with white. If you're drinking red here, you stick with red. You generally don't mix. And so that was like a really surprise to me because it was my first time there and I had never really done that before. So yeah, we talk about the natural of it all. Can you speak to, as Ernest already indicated, as you've journeyed through the world and traveled a host of places and even gone to, what would I call it? Like food experiences outside of the country and just learning about health and wealth and food and nature and all the things. Can you also speak to how you became plant-based and why you started cooking plant-based?
Um, Basically, I noticed that when I was working, because I'm also a wardrobe stylist, so if I was working on TV shows or films, I couldn't get sick. And the only way because if I get sick, they'll replace you, right? So the only things when I had more of a plant-based diet, it kept me from getting sick. And then I actually did a cleanse in Honduras, and I took something called a duck flower. Prior to this, I was pescatarian for about over 10 years before then. So I already had a pretty limited diet. I didn't eat a lot of things. And this flower took a lot of inflammation and mucus out of your body, but it's a violent detox. I didn't realize how violent it was. So it lasted about 5.5 hours of just purging.
Wow.
And at some point, it was like coming up like lime green mucus. And I didn't know what it was. And then the nurse told me, she was like, that's indicative of mercury poison. So subconsciously, just like a child, I've heard of stories like this, and it's happened to me as a child. If you eat something and you get sick from it, your brain shuts it off. Like you don't want it again. So it made me instantly just not want seafood or alcohol. Because on the way home, I was flying home and people beside me were getting wine. And I was just like, can you guys please not drink this? Because it was just making me nauseous. And so it took me about 2 years to even reintroduce like alcohol into my diet. I started drinking like Rieslings and I couldn't drink any mixed drinks. I still can't really. And then eventually I started being able to incorporate more seafood. But I always say I was a forced vegan. Because I didn't do it by choice, because crabs are my favorite, and I would never consciously take crab cakes off of my menu. That's not something I ever want to do or would do. So
Even though I'm sure you make the vegan version just fine.
oh my God, I make a great vegan crab cake.
Vegan crab cake.
Yes.
So question for you. This cleanse that you did in Honduras, did you consciously go and say, I want to have this? Or were you in Honduras and somebody said, this is something you should try?
No, so I'm a licensed herbalist.
Okay.
And I travel around the world to different villages and different countries, learning under indigenous healers. So everywhere I go, I'm always there to do some type of detox, some type of cleanse, because I help people with those services. And I would never give somebody or recommend to somebody something I haven't tried myself.
Right.
So no matter what the treatment is, I've went through it. So if they have any questions, I know exactly what's going on. So I begged for that flower.
Right.
They didn't force it on me.
You just didn't know
No, I
what
just didn't
the
know.
outcome was going to be.
Yeah, to your point.
Yeah.
because even people there, they were like, you really want it? I'm like, yes, give it to me.
Right.
It was like $100 add-on. I'm like, give me the flour.
Right. And now you are saying flour, if that's FLOWER, or flour as in what goes into a pasta. It's an
No,
actual
it's a flower. It looks
flour.
like a calla lily.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I think that's a perfect transition to talk about being an herbalist and how, as Karen was asking earlier, how did that enter your psyche? How did that become part of how you move in the world?
My grandmother always used home remedies for us. So anytime I got sick, it was always a natural alternative. So I mean, pretty much in my culture, most people didn't like taking medicine. And I did have really bad sinuses. So one time I ran out of medicine, and every time I would get migraines. So I went to the doctor, and they were just like, well, you don't have the option to not take it. You'll be on it for the rest of your life. And I'm like, I don't want to be on something for the rest of my life. I also had asthma. So I did a cleanse, like I did a 30-day cleanse that I ended up doing for like 45 to 60 days. And it was all fruits and vegetables and herbs. At the end of the cleanse, my asthma was gone. My allergies were better. I didn't have to deal with anything with my sinuses. Menstrual cramps were gone. Everything it just was about a total body reset. So I was like, okay, it's something to this. So then I would learn after that, anytime I felt something going on with me, I would just start drinking juices or do 3 days of juicing and different things like that. So then I just started helping other people, and the doctors that I were going to, like the naturopathic doctors, they would always tell me, you should learn because you're so inquisitive. So I just started taking classes and learning.
Nice. And is that something that, so to balance homeopathic medicine and treatments with conventional, in quotes, treatment, and what seems to be the modus operandi for most doctors, U.S. doctors, is exactly what I think you were referencing, which is big pharma. Here's the medicine,
Take a pill, yeah.
to be able to cure the symptoms, but not the root cause.
Right.
Have you found that going down the homeopathic lane has been able to benefit you and as well as your community?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I think that's the wrong word. Like cure, our medicine here in the States cures nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It just basically makes it bearable for you to be a lifelong client.
Right. Right.
When you take a natural path, it's like it'll help you fix it, whereas though you don't need to be a client forever. You'll then learn your body and you can be your own doctor.
Right.
Right.
So it's much better because, in my opinion, now it's slower
Right.
because there's not so many chemicals involved, but it's better for you. Your body just readjusts on a cellular level, and that's what you want.
Right.
So talk about, as you moved about the world freely, and as the doctors you studied under would call you inquisitive, and you gathered all this information and all this wisdom. Talk about your commitment, to Ernest's point, your commitment to your community and your family and people you love, and what that commitment looks like today and how you help people at present.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I really did it is because I felt like if something happened to me or one of my friends, we wouldn't have to go to a remote country to heal. I would at least have the knowledge. And following that, my 2 best friends in the world, 2 years apart, on the same day was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was able to put them through natural ways, and they kicked cancer's butt. Neither one of them missed a day of work. They didn't lose any hair. And they were able to just thrive through it without telling everybody. And that right there was a testament. So I feel like even if I learned it just for that, it would be good. But since then, I've helped so many people with diabetes and high blood pressure and simple things like that. That's easy. It's easy to get your system reset from things like that. So it's a joy, because with me being a wardrobe stylist, that's helping the outside, but helping the inside is so much better, because we can age backwards if we just put the right things in our bodies. So it's knowledge, and a lot of things people just don't know. It's not that they don't want to know, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they trust what they're being told. And unfortunately, what they're being told is a money grab. But I always say, like, go back to eating. If you eat like they did in Eating, fruits, vegetables, and things like that, you're fine. it says it in the Bible. Like, I think it says plants are the medicine and fruit is the foods. Like, just eat naturally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because of your help and your work and all of that, you have started your own brand. And can you talk about that? Say the name correctly, as I butchered it earlier, and then be able to talk about what the products are.
I have a company called Divinity, and it's teas, tinctures, and detoxes. So you can go in there and do anything from a foundation cleanse, which would cleanse your liver, kidneys, and your lower organs to help people go to the restroom, because a lot of people just don't have regular bowel movements, and that's the first sign that something is wrong. And then from head to toe, anything from your skin to harmony to just balance, or actually if you need energy, there's mojo. It's 50 different formulas on there of things that people may need day to day to help life.
Yeah, and here's the deal. We're going to continue talking with you about this because it is fascinating. So when we come forward, we'll jump back into that. You're listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
When we come forward, more savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Our guest this afternoon is Davida. Vita. She only goes by one name. So she's like the Sades and the Madonnas of the world. But she is the one name wonder in the health and wellness space.
Right.
So we're going to continue the conversation that we've been having. I would love to be able to, before we jump into that, have you tell people how they can find you. Website, Instagram, how can people get in touch with you to get a little bit more information about all of the things we're discussing today?
My Instagram is divinity.com, DAVINITEA.com, and also vidacolona.com, VIDACOLONA.com. You can find me, that's the websites too, Divinity and vidacolona.com.
And is it the same for Instagram? Is that
Same thing, same
Okay.
spelling, same thing. Everything goes to those pages.
Got it?
So if you type it in, you can see it. All of the products are available online. I do cooking tutorials on Instagram. I do a herb of the day a lot of times just to familiarize people with different herbs and what they're good for in case they want to go get them on their own. I sell things too. So
Nice.
So when we were on kind of taking a break before we came forward, I was asking you the question about water and how you feel about water and what your take is on water. And the reason the question came up for me is because I was watching this gentleman. I do not remember his Instagram handle, but I was watching this gentleman and he was saying how he hadn't drank water in probably 6 months, but he was taking in watermelon juice. And he was like, I know we're however percent water, but like I feel great, I feel fine, all the things, and I'm not drinking water. So I wanted to hear your take on water and what you've heard from your colleagues or other people you've witnessed who are in the wellness space or just taking good care of themselves.
yes, I studied in Panama for 3 weeks under Dr. Aris Latham. He's in the Oxford Dictionary as like a modern food vegan, raw vegan. So he was vegan since like 1970 and raw vegan since like 1974 or something like that. And I believe for the last like 40 years, he hasn't drunk water, like H2O water. He believes water is for fish. And he lives off of coconut water and fruit juices. And I stayed there. Was a fruit farm in Panama that we stayed on. And during this 21 days, I didn't drink any regular water, any bottled water or anything like that. And I was perfectly fine. I do have a few friends in different countries that don't drink water. They're fine. They're fine. They live predominantly off of coconut water and fruit juices. That's just fresh. So that's living water. So they feel like the water that we get is dead.
Yeah.
There's no life in that water.
Yeah.
So they're eating life force. So they feel like they're drinking life force. So when they get oranges from the trees and watermelons, they feel like it's charging them.
Yeah. It's interesting because I was watching something the other day on CNN, and I think people know this now that we should not, whatever we do as it relates to water, drink water out of plastic because
Right.
plastic is leaking into the water and we never know how long it's on the shelves and all the things. So I've been trying to get people not to drink water out of plastic.
Yeah, the microplastics are a real thing.
Yep.
My question, though, that so in our conversation, I want to be able to balance the information that you're giving us with what may have been messaged from other sources. And my question for you is, as we talk about water and just drinking fruit juices, coconut water and fruit juices, is there a correlation, though, with diabetes and fruit juices, and does drinking just fruit juices elevate your connection to diabetes?
Okay, diabetes is 100%, type 2 diabetes is 100% curable with changing your diet.
Absolutely.
So the natural sugar is not the problem.
Okay.
So sugar that's coming from fruits and vegetables, fruits in particular, they're fine.
Okay.
I believe they're fine. It's when you have processed sugar
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem. And I know a lot of people say that, like, I can't drink this. And I'm like, you'll be fine. They're
Right.
fine. And even if they just drink coconut, you can drink coconut water. Coconut water is the closest composition to breast milk on the planet.
Okay.
So
Never heard that.
yeah, so some women that their babies can't latch on and they can't breastfeed them, they can give them fresh coconut water. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, no,
Yeah, it's the what used to be kids' favorite juice back in the day?
Kool-Aid?
The cranberry.
Red? Sorry.
Really? Just a little above that. Ocean spray.
Ocean
Spray, cranberry. And it's like, no, to your point, the juice has to be fresh. But if you're drinking that bottled juice that's sitting on the shelf
with
and
a lot, it has 1,000
refrigeration-
grams of sugar in it
Yes.
and things like that. That's different. But if
Yeah.
you are actually juicing
Yeah.
fresh fruits, you're
Mhm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your teas. How are they you don't have to give us the formula, but how are they formulated? And what are some of the things that using your teas, tinctures, and there was a third thing that you said,
Detox.
detox. How are utilizing your herbs and your teas, how are they going to, what is the protocol? Meaning, how long are you doing these teas, and are you fasting? And so talk to us a little bit about what being on your teas or tinctures, what the protocol looks like.
Well, it's regular tea. So it's some for weight loss, energy, harmony for relaxation. I have one for hangover. So depending on what you're dealing with, you can just drink it. You drink it like you would drink a regular cup of tea as needed. Now, if you do a cleanse, that's a 30-day program.
Okay.
And we had intense ones and then we had milder ones. I recommend that when people do it, they cut out meat and dairy during that time just so they can get the maximum results. Even if they don't, they will get results from it. But just to get the best results, is better if they're eating clean. And that also depends on what you're dealing with. As far as the tinctures, it's tinctures from everything. If you're dealing with your eyesight, your hearing, lungs, whatever it is you may need, is specific tinctures for that you can add on to any cleanse, or you can buy them separately. And you'll just take a dropper full of those once or twice a day.
Talk to me about diagnosis. How do you diagnose what tea or tincture is goes with what ailments are happening in our body? Like, how do you talk people through or identify what they should be doing as it applies to herbals, teas, and anything?
When you study herbalism, you'll learn that there's a plant for everything.
Okay.
It's a couple plants for everything.
Okay.
So depending on what people need, as far as fruits and foods and plants, you'll just know, depending on if they have diabetes or if they have migraines or if they have menstrual cramps or whatever, if they're having issues with their weight, you'll know exactly what plant serves that or whatever, or help you with it. Because there's some plants that help with insulin resistance. You just know just from studying it. It's so funny too, because it's also something called the doctrine of signatures.
Okay.
And that shows you how God put everything in plain sight. So say if you're having issues with your kidney beans help. If you're having issues with your brain, walnuts help. Men, if you're having issues with your
walnut
penis,
looks like a brain.
it looks like a
Yeah,
brain.
that's for sure.
Carrots, if you open it up, that helps with your eyes. It looks like your eye.
Okay.
Your uterus, avocados, it looks like a uterus. Like it's hidden in plain sight. And a lot of plants, even there's one called like eye bright that helps with your eyes. Things, the names and the way that things look, a lot of times it helps for specific things in your body.
Copy that.
Yeah, nature tells you everything.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, you know, and look, I have said this. I think that one, I am a huge fan of people going to the doctor and getting your checkups, getting all of that. I also believe that the homeopathic lane and modern, and I put that in quotes, medicine can work very well together. I'm not of the belief that it has to be either or. Like, you know, I think that there are things that modern medicine can address that is very important to be able to do. And then I think that they're adding homeopathic treatments into that is also important. And I think that I have friends that that have just decided to go one route or the other. And in my head, I believe that there's an option for you to be able to consider both of them and integrate them into your well-being. So, you know, I agree wholeheartedly with you that it is important that whether it's kidney beans or, you know, being able to incorporate all of these things into your diet, into your lifestyle is important. I think that, but I do think that there's a balance between the two of them. So that is something that
I think to your point, everything's contingent upon response, right? And so for me, where I have an issue with Western medicine is the response to your point and Vita's point earlier is it's always a pill.
Yeah.
They won't even say I shouldn't say they, because all doctors are not the same. Some doctors will ask questions. Well, are you sedentary? Are you moving around? What do you eat? What do you drink? You know, et cetera, et cetera. But some will just be like, oh, blood pressure. Here you go.
There's your medicine.
And so the response of a doctor is important to me. And then our response that you're getting to, our response, how are we going to interact? So say, for example, as you know, I go to the doctor on Wednesday. They've run all these tests. The doctor specializes in hormonal adjustment, not just therapy and replacement. But the point is, you know, she's a doctor, she's a woman, she's a doctor of color, she's all the things. She's like Davida has tried things. So if she's advising her clients to take it, she's already tried it. I appreciate that. And I love her transparency and honesty. But now it's like whatever she says to me on Wednesday, I will be consulting my other doctor, Dr. Vita, and I will also be making decisions for myself. Like, oh, do I need to go back to acupuncture? Because it helps a lot of things. Do I need to go over here? Do I need to start drinking coconut water? Like whatever that is, because I think you both know, God willing, I want to be here till I'm 98, walking upright, having my cigar and my Indian whiskey.
Right.
And happy, and you guys being around me and thriving. So that's where we is.
When we come forward, we're going to continue talking with Vita. You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
When we come forward, more savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Our guest today is Vita, and she is first and foremost, she's a stylist, and you guys on camera, make sure that you're taking a look at her. She's giving us all the feels and all the flavors.
Things, yes.
She is also an herbalist, a licensed herbalist, and she has her line, Divinities. Is it plural or one?
One.
Singular, Divinity. And she's been speaking with us today about the homeopathic lane and health and wellness from a homeopathic and natural standpoint. Before we continue the conversation, I want to tell people where they can find Karen and I. The easiest way and best way to be able to get us on all of our platforms is to follow us online. It's www.foodforthought.com. The and is spelled out, and that is the easiest way to find us. And from there, you will be able to find our Instagram, our Spotify, our YouTube, and that is the best way to find us. But I will also tell people, if you want to go directly to YouTube, you can find us at Food for Thought with K and E. Our Spotify is Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest, and our IG is Food for Thought with K and E. If you're one of those people that wants to be able to shoot us an email because you want a little bit more of an in-depth conversation, our email address is foodforthought@foodforthoughtwithknd.com.
I just wanted to thank you for that. I just wanted to add, as you're listening to this interview with Vida, that she is one of the most integral women I know. I've been impressed over the years as being her friend and colleague and all the things, my adventurous partner in crime. I've just been impressed with your commitment to health and for yourself, for your family, for even me. You have helped me. You've given me your products. They work. And so I know sometimes this whole health thing is very daunting. People can be afraid of it. I love that you said, kind of alluded to, we need to go to the doctor. We need to know what's going on so that we could treat it accordingly, right? And so please, please, please go to the doctor, but also be able to, as Ernest stated earlier, weigh your options and what your response is going to be to health, right? Because we want to be, of course, cute projecting outside, but we want to be real pretty on the inside because that projects outside. The better your innards are, the more attractive you can be in what you project out. So I just want people to kind of pay attention, do their own due diligence, figure out what the best response is for them, because in this particular season of our lives, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of environmental damage and hazards, and we just need to be aware of those so that we can do what we want to do for ourselves.
Agreed. And Vida, if you had, and you will have, I was going to say, if you had an opportunity to speak to people and tell them one takeaway as it applies to homeopathic healing, as it applies to being a vegan, if you had an opportunity to talk to someone and give them one touch point or one conversation point, what would that be?
I would basically just tell people, somebody told me before, like, thou shall not kill. So that's like in the Bible, people know that you shouldn't kill. So basically, when we're killing animals for food, it's killing us. It's not an instant death, but it's a slow death. And it comes in the form of diabetes and high blood pressure and different things like that. So everything that you're putting in your body, you're either prolonging your life and feeding yourself, or you're killing it. So just make choice. And I'm not saying for everybody to be vegan or plant-based. I'm just saying make conscious choices and try to balance things out. Okay. Like, don't go all the way bad. Some people don't have any color on their plate. They don't eat any. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and they may have a bowel movement once a week and tell me they don't eat vegetables. As an adult, how do you not eat vegetables?
Right. Yeah.
So
or live through not having to. I have one friend in particular that says she doesn't go regularly, and I don't understand why that's okay. I think we just start to accept things because, again, it can be daunting, it can be scary to address your health issues, but if you want to be here, it's a must. You have to. Yeah.
And you have to listen to your body, and don't get okay with your body breaking down and thinking that's normal because it happens to someone in your family or because it happens slowly. Like, even people on dialysis, you go to dialysis so that they can get urine out of your body. At the point you're not urinating for days, something's wrong. Address it. And to your point, like, I mean, I do believe that people should go to the doctor. You should know your numbers. You should know where you're at, and then you know how to tackle it. But do research. Don't just let somebody give you pills and blindly take them. Because for me, I'll have to give you a dissertation as to why fruits and vegetables are good for you. But you'll let somebody stick you with a needle or give you 30 pills, and you'll never ask that man with that white coat on what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I hand somebody a capsule, or if I give you a plate of fruit, what is this going to do? What's in this? What's in that? He'll tell you, take 13 pills for the rest of your life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It is very
Do
interesting.
no research. Or like, do research. See how many people have used this and how it affects their body.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'll give you medicine and it'll tell you 30 side effects. So now why do I want to take this if it caused depression, anxiety, may have suicidal thoughts? Don't, I prefer.
Right.
It
The,
is
li-
like,
the list
huh?
of side effects are worse than what you were going into the doctor for.
We're addressing. Yeah, it's
You'd be
scary.
like, I just had a cough, but you're telling me I might die. Yeah, so
And to your point, if I'm in a car accident and it's something trauma, don't hand me some herbs.
right.
Get
I
me
get
to
it.
a doctor.
Right.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue talking with Vida. You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
When we come forward, more savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. And our guest today has been Vida, and we've been having a really enlightening conversation about homeopathic medicine and being a vegan, and going down the road and how to balance a homeopathic natural lifestyle with the day-to-day demands that we run into. It is the time of the show where we do our sometimes unpopular opinions, but it's called the hot dish. And in both segments before, Diva told you where.
Diva.
Diva.
Oh, look at you
Well, she
playing.
is.
People do that to me all the
she's-
time.
They're playing rearranging letters.
Vida, the diva, told you where you could find her, and Karen and I told you where you could find us. So we said what we said. Hey, Lou, do you want to jump into this and your hot dish?
My hot dish is in honor of our guest Vida. Please don't serve me or have an option on the menu of a vegan burger and then have a regular piece of cheese on it. Like, don't give me the vegan burger with a piece of cheddar that is not vegan. It just doesn't make sense. So please don't do that.
I agree.
Vida, the diva, do you want to give us your hot dish?
Okay, this grinds my gears. When you're at a nice restaurant and people ask for plastic because they think they're being like sanitary.
Yes.
Oh.
Have you ever had that happen? If you're at a fancy restaurant and somebody like, excuse me, I don't eat like use regular silverware, I need plastic.
No.
Or they'll take the silverware and put it in the water glass like to wipe it off.
Okay.
As if the dishwashers aren't clean enough in the restaurant.
Back in the day when I was living in Oakland, I did hang out with one of the posse members of MC Hammer. And I remember him asking for a hot glass of water, and he put his utensils in it. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm mortified. But, it was his thing. And so yeah, that has happened to me. I've never been at a place where somebody's asked for plastic.
Yeah. So I have heard of it, and it's just funny when you go out to kind of these places and to be able to see how people navigate the culinary space.
Yes.
Do like the little things like asking, and to each their own, but asking for steak sauce at
Please
a top tier steak house.
Yes.
My hot dish is actually going to tap in with something that Vida said earlier, and that is, I do not understand how, as an adult, you can say that you do not eat vegetables. When you said that earlier, and
You have
Karen and
those
I,
friends too.
yeah, Karen and I have talked about this. I
don't
don't
get it either.
understand how you can. And so there are times when my body craves vegetable, where I'm like, I need to have some spinach, or I need to have some fruit. And I don't understand how, as adults, I understand kids. If they don't like it, they're a little bit sometimes. But as an adult, how do you not have vegetables at least a couple of times during the week, if not every day? And it's so weird to me that adults are kind of moving in the world in that way. So
Or
when you,
what people will call vegetables just to like to justify what they're eating. You know, like people will eat fried potatoes and say
Right.
that the potatoes are
yeah,
vegetable.
and so part two of
Right.
my hot dish is, kind of quantifying or qualifying those vegetables.
Yeah.
I remember being in Atlanta once, and I was at some restaurant, and I wanted to have. I was like, "Hey, do you have any vegetables?" And their version of vegetables were overcooked. They had like a wedge salad, which is just iceberg lettuce, which has no nutritional value, and a bunch of blue cheese, and they had string beans, which were overcooked, and they were cooked in animal fat, and so that's part two of my hot dish. So I said what I said, and y'all can add us if you want, but we said
We'll
what we
have to
said.
go to Lark in Santa Barbara and have a wedge. They give all the greens.
Okay.
There's no iceberg and it's very fresh.
Road trip. I'm here
Yes.
for it.
But to your point, people will order vegetables, especially broccoli, because a lot of people, that's all they're going to eat is corn and broccoli, and they want it overcooked and drenched in butter.
Yeah, I agree.
It has no nutritional
No
value.
nutritional value. Yeah, so that's what it is. Well, we say this all the time. We are often amazed how quickly time goes by. Vita, we want to make sure to take a second to say thank you for fitting us in your busy schedule
Thank
and
you
your
for having
international
me.
travels. Kaylu, it's that time of the day where we always do is we say, bye.